They told you age decides desire. It doesn't. Her body responds to presence, not calendars. Right now, many men are stuck in the same loop. You feel a pull toward a woman much younger or older, then you hear the noise, friends joke, family judges. Social media calls it creepy or desperate. So you overthink everything. You censor yourself. You apologize for chemistry that refuses to follow a rule book. You try to make it look acceptable, and you make yourself smaller. Meanwhile, the attraction keeps buzzing under the surface, persistent. Here is what no one told you. Age gaps are not automatically predatory or pathetic. They are demanding. They magnify motive, power, and timing. When you bring grounded confidence, boundaries, and honest intent, the dynamic can become truly magnetic. When you bring neediness, secrecy, and fantasy, it devours you. The difference is not the numbers. The difference is the man. In this video, we are going to cut through the noise. We will separate biology from shame, chemistry from performance, and genuine polarity from performative status games. You will learn how to hold your frame under pressure, how to filter motives without cynicism, how to make passion feel safe, and how to respect time as the third partner in every age gap story. Not to chase controversy, but to live with clarity. If any part of you is tired of guessing and ready to see the truth behind what pulls her in, stay with me. Let's get into it. Number 1. Desire ignores age. You have been taught to treat age like a traffic light. Green if the numbers look neat, red if they do not. But desire does not read your calendar. It reads your presence, your energy, your clarity. When a woman feels grounded certainty in you, her body responds long before anyone's opinion arrives. When she feels neediness, she disconnects no matter what year is on her driver's license. The story men were never told is simple. Attraction follows polarity, not birthdays. Think about why this matters now. Women carry more responsibility than ever. Decisions at work, logistics at home, constant judgment online. That strain makes performance attractive and real leadership irresistible. If you show up trying to be acceptable for the crowd, you flatten the chemistry. If you show up centered and decisive, you amplify it. Numbers can create pressure. Presence dissolves it. Here is a real picture. Jeff is 55, a commercial photographer in San Diego. He met Maya, 32, a product designer who runs on adrenaline and coffee. People around them had opinions. He ignored the noise and focused on standards. He kept his routine, kept his training, set clear plans, never oversold. What pulled Maya in was not the gap, it was the gravity. She could feel that he would be the same whether she showed up or not. That certainty let her exhale in a way her peers did not. Now flip the script. Elena is 46, a physician in Seattle who has seen every variety of boyish bravado. Noah is 35, a systems engineer who does not posture. He does not pretend to be older. He respects time, says what he means, and shows it by how he moves. Elena was not hunting for youth. She was starving for conviction. The age difference made outsiders talk. The energy difference made her listen. His steadiness woke up her softness, not because he tried to be impressive, but because he refused to be performative. Desire cares about alignment. Age gaps magnify motives. If you are chasing validation, the numbers expose you quickly. If you are leading yourself, the numbers stop mattering. That is why secrecy poisons age gap dynamics. Hiding invites shame, and shame kills polarity. Clarity creates oxygen. You make your intentions explicit. You build boundaries early. You move at a pace that respects real life, not fantasy. You allow interest to prove itself through consistent approach, not dramatic vows. There is also the myth that desire equals power over. In reality, the only power worth having is power over yourself. If the gap tempts you to control, you will lose the very thing you wanted. If it tempts you to regress into pleasing, you will smother the spark. You avoid both by returning to discipline. Protect your sleep, protect your schedule, protect your training, protect your financial frame. It is not glamorous, but it is what turns chaotic chemistry into sustainable attraction. You also need honesty about seasons. If your timelines fight, passion becomes debt. Talk plainly about goals, kids, money, location, and freedom, not as a negotiation of worth, but as a check on reality. Desire ignores age, but time does not. When you respect that, you remove future resentment disguised as romance today. The short truth is this: desire is biological, psychological, and energetic. It rewards grounded men and exposes everyone else. If you hold your center, you will be more attractive at 55 than most men at 25. If you abandon it, you will be forgettable at any age. Do not argue with biology. Align with it. Let presence lead. Let numbers be a footnote. If this hit home, claim it in the comments with 4 clear words. I rise above age. Do not leave yet. The next insight will sharpen your filter for what is real without giving oxygen to drama. Number 2. Her youth craves your certainty. There is a reason younger women are drawn to grounded men. It is not magic. It is not manipulation. It is nervous systems talking. She lives in a world that is fast, loud, demanding decisions. When she feels your calm direction, her body relaxes. When she feels your doubt, her guard rises. Youth does not crave your money. It craves your certainty. Certainty signals safety, and safety unlocks desire. Certainty is not volume. It is not control. It is the quiet conviction that you know who you are and where you are going. Epictetus put it plainly: first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. A man who lives this way does not outsource his choices. He invites a woman into a life that has spine and rhythm. In age gap dynamics, that matters even more. Numbers magnify motives. If you are chasing validation, she will feel the pull and resist. If you are leading yourself, she will feel the steadiness and soften. The difference is not your birth year, it is your frame. Your frame is the set of standards and boundaries that you defend without apology. You protect your sleep, your time, your work, your body, and your values. You do not trade them for attention. Certainty also means transparency. You speak your intentions early instead of performing romance to win approval. You state pace and boundaries. You do not hide. Shame grows in the dark, and shame kills polarity. If you want attraction to last, bring everything into the light. You will lose people who were there for the wrong reasons. That is good. It saves you from becoming an entertainer instead of a man. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Certainty begins there. If your thoughts are frantic and approval-seeking, your energy will be the same. If your thoughts are ordered by purpose, your presence will be calm. Younger energy tests for that difference. She will joke, she will push, she will delay. Not always to be difficult, but to feel whether your center holds when she does not reward you. Do not mistake certainty for rigidity. Rigidity is fear in armor. Certainty is flexibility with the backbone. You can listen without collapsing. You can adjust without abandoning yourself. You can disagree without turning cold. That balance is rare, which is why it is attractive. It lets a woman feel both excitement and safety at once. There is a trap that catches many men here. They try to buy certainty with gifts, favors, and constant access. That is not certainty. That is performance. Performance begs for applause. Certainty does not. Certainty shows up on time. It keeps promises. It leaves when respect disappears. It holds the pace even when chemistry is loud. Time is the third partner in every age gap story. Your certainty must respect it. That means clean conversations about goals, freedom, location, children, and costs. You do not demand agreement. You seek alignment. If alignment is missing, you say so and step back. Measurement of fit is not romance, but it is what keeps romance alive. Here is the test you can use right now. Ask yourself if you would live the same way without her attention. If the answer is no, you are selling yourself for a feeling. If the answer is yes, you are ready to lead. Lead with clarity in your words, weight in your calendar, and discipline in your habits. Youth does not need your noise. Youth needs your certainty. If you are ready to embody this, claim it below with 3 words. I bring certainty. Do not click away. What comes next will help you separate genuine pull from borrowed status, so you stop paying interest on chemistry that never becomes real. Number 3. Her experience craves your edge. She is not new to this. She has dated men who tried to dazzle her with money, status, or speeches about being different. She has met the quiet ones who hid their needs behind politeness. None of that moved her. What does is rare. A man who carries an edge, not aggression, not bravado. An edge is clean boundaries, clear direction, and the courage to keep both when attraction gets loud. Experienced women can smell performance. They read the gap between words and actions. They watch what you do when plans change. That is why edge matters here. Her history makes her cautious, and it makes her hungry for a man whose core does not wobble. Here is a picture. Chris is 37, a software engineer in Portland. Ava is 48, a creative director who has managed teams, budgets, and storms. Chris did not perform maturity to impress her. He did not mirror her opinions. He set plans and stayed off his phone when they were together. When a reservation fell through, he did not apologize 5 times. He chose another place and moved. Ava's experience tested him. She teased him sharply, went quiet once, and arrived 10 minutes late to see if his center would tilt. He did not scold, he did not chase. He reset the time and kept his tone even. That is edge. You do not punish, you do not plead. You hold the line with steady energy and let the dynamic reveal itself. Older experience craves that edge because it signals safety without boredom. Too soft, and she has to lead, which kills desire. Too hard, and she shields, which kills trust. Edge sits in the middle. You have warmth, but you are not bendable. You are open, but you are not available for disrespect. That contrast lets an experienced woman relax again. Edge also filters motives. Age gap attraction gets polluted by fantasy fast. Your edge keeps the air clean. You move at a pace. You state intentions early. You say no to secrecy. You protect sleep, money, and schedule. You do not spend to impress. You invest when there is reciprocity. If resentment shows up, pay attention. It means you are overgiving or ignoring a mismatch. There is discipline behind all of this. You do not explain your standards. You demonstrate them. You do not argue with her history. You respect it and refuse to carry it. You listen and still decide. You stay grounded and keep your humor. Presence over performance every time. A woman with experience does not need another project to manage. She wants a man whose edge removes decisions from her shoulders. That is not control. That is leadership. Leadership is simple. You choose, you communicate, you keep your word, and you leave when respect leaves. The edge is not the raised voice. It is the calm exit. Whether you are the older man dating a peer or the younger man with an older woman, her experience still wants your edge. Not hype, not acting older, not flattery. Edge. Claim it without noise. Build your body, your calendar, your craft, and your circle. Let her feel the gravity that work creates. When experience meets edge, the room goes quiet. She stops steering and relaxes into a man who will not trade himself for approval. If this resonated, write 4 words to lock it in. I keep my edge. Stay with me. What follows helps separate genuine pull from borrowed status, so you stop paying interest on attention you never needed. Number 4. Beauty trades with strength, not comfort. Beauty does not stay for comfort. Comfort is warm, predictable, and safe, but it rarely ignites desire. What beauty responds to is strength, not volume, not bravado, not control. Strength is calm leadership, consistent standards, and a mind that does not collapse when feelings surge. In age gap dynamics, this becomes obvious. Comfort tries to smooth everything over so no one is offended. Strength sets a direction and accepts that some people will not like it. Think about what she carries every day. Expectations, schedules, opinions, constant decisions. Comfort offers her more pillows. Strength offers her a frame. A frame removes weight from her shoulders. It gives shape to time and plans. It says, here is where we are going, here is when, here is how. When that frame is present, beauty relaxes. When it is absent, she must create it herself, and that responsibility kills polarity. The Stoics understood this distinction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Strong thoughts produce strong actions. Strong actions create a life with boundaries and rhythm." Seneca added, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Comfort fuels that imagination. Strength cuts through it with decisions. You cannot soothe someone into desire. You lead it into existence by how you move. Strength is not stubbornness. Stubbornness is fear in armor. Strength is flexibility with a spine. You listen fully and still choose. You change plans when reality requires it, but you never trade your standards for approval. That balance is rare. It is also why beauty respects strength even when it disagrees. People trust what is reliable. Comfort is agreeable but unreliable. Strength is steady. In age gap relationships, there is often a silent negotiation. Youth brings radiance and possibility. Maturity brings clarity and direction. When maturity shows up as comfort, it becomes parental and dull. When it shows up as strength, it becomes magnetic. Beauty does not want another caretaker. Beauty wants a man who can hold a course without drama, then invite her into it without pressure. Clarity is the proof of strength. Speak intentions early. Refuse secrecy. Do not buy closeness with gifts or access. Protect sleep, work, training, and money. Keep dates you set. Leave when respect disappears. None of this is harsh. It is clean. It communicates that your life has weight. Beauty feels that gravity and calibrates around it. Without clarity, your presence feels soft, and soft presence asks her to lead. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That sentence is a blueprint. Decide your role before you enter the story. If you come in as comfort, you will be used as a cushion. If you come in as strength, you will be met as a counterpart. Your edge is not for sale, and because it is not for sale, it becomes valuable. There is a final mistake to avoid. Do not confuse intensity with strength. Intensity is loud, exciting, and exhausting. Strength is quiet, directive, and sustainable. Intensity burns bright and then burns out. Strength builds warmth and keeps it lit. Beauty wants fire she can trust, not fireworks she must manage. If you are ready to embody this, claim it below with 3 words. I value strength. Stay here because next we expose the cost of chasing approval in age gap dynamics. It is subtle, expensive, and it drains the very polarity you are trying to build. You will see how to stop paying that tax soon. Number 5. Shame-proof your frame. Shame is the background noise that ruins age gap dynamics. It does not touch your body. It attacks your frame. Friends crack jokes. Family hints you are compensating. Online voices call it creepy or desperate. If you do not prepare for that noise, you start performing. You explain yourself. You hide the relationship. You overgive to look pure. Every one of those moves weakens polarity. The goal is not to silence the world. The goal is to become immune to it. You shame-proof your frame so desire can breathe. Frame is not a speech. Frame is how you live when no one is watching. It is your schedule, sleep, money, health, mission, and standards. When your frame is tight, outside judgment feels like weather. You notice it and keep moving. When your frame is loose, judgment feels like a verdict. You react, defend, and negotiate your identity. Attraction shrinks the second you do that, because you just told her public opinion outranks your purpose. Make this real. Patrick is 51, a contracting firm owner in Phoenix. He met Serena, 32, a hospitality manager who works brutal hours and thrives on momentum. Patrick did not hide her from his circle, and he did not parade her for applause. He stated his intentions, kept his routine, and refused performative romance. When a colleague joked about his midlife crisis, he smiled once and changed the subject. At dinner, when an older couple stared, he asked Serena about her goals, then booked a weekend she had been afraid to take. No sermon, no argument, just leadership without noise. Now look at the opposite pattern. Diane is 47, a marketing VP in Atlanta. She met Caleb, 36, a sales engineer who treats shame like a cue to prove himself. When friends questioned his motives, he started buying gifts he could not afford. When Diane's sister made a comment, he flooded her with texts to show commitment. The energy flipped, desire dropped. Not because of age, but because his frame got hijacked by shame. You cannot argue shame into silence. You replace the conditions that feed it. Stop secrecy. Secrets invite guilt, and guilt kills presence. Speak your pace and boundaries early. If someone leaves because you are clear, it is a gift. You just filtered motives without a fight. Keep your money clean. Do not pay to look legitimate. Invest only when reciprocity is obvious. Guard your sleep and training. Tired men become apologetic men. Apologetic men perform, and performance always reads weak. You also need a plan for public friction. Decide before you walk into rooms who you are and how you respond. If a snide comment lands, you do not debate. You use brevity. You return to the moment with her. You keep warmth, but you do not surrender the lead. She watches that micro-choice more than she hears your words. If you can hold frame under petty pressure, she relaxes because you just proved you can hold it under real pressure. Remember what this is not. It is not defiance for its own sake. It is not stubbornness. It is alignment. You live in a way that would be right even if no one clapped for it. That is the medicine against shame. The more you align, the less you explain. The less you explain, the more your presence speaks for you. Presence cuts gossip to size every time. Claim it now with 3 words. I reject shame. Do not step away. Next, we expose the quiet way men medicate old wounds with romance and why it burns through attraction faster than any age gap ever could. Number 6. Don't medicate wounds with romance. Pain disguised as passion always costs more later. If you try to soothe abandonment, shame, or midlife regret by jumping into an age gap rush, the chemistry will feel intense, but it will not be stable. Romance can complement healing, not replace it. When the relationship becomes your painkiller, you stop leading yourself and start dosing. She will feel the dependency in your energy long before you say a word. Unhealed wounds have very predictable tells. You overpromise on the first dates. You rush exclusivity. You flood gifts or access to buy reassurance. You hide the connection from people who might judge it. You agree to terms you do not respect, just to keep the feeling. That is not desire. That is self-anesthesia. And the more you self-medicate, the less attractive you appear, because neediness broadcasts that you cannot hold your center. Stoicism offers a hard, clean alternative. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the quality of your life follows the quality of your thoughts. Seneca added that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The practice is to sit with the urge rather than obey it. Feel the spike, Name the belief underneath it and choose the action that preserves your standards. Healing starts when you stop bargaining with your pain. Do a simple audit. Ask what you want from the relationship that has nothing to do with the other person. Peace, direction, purpose, self-respect. If you cannot source those in your daily life, an age gap will only magnify the deficit. Build the pillars first. Protect sleep and training. Keep your money clean. See friends who challenge you. Keep promises to yourself. When the structure is solid, romance enhances it. When it is missing, romance hides the cracks until they split. Refuse the savior roles on both sides. Do not sell yourself as her escape from boredom or chaos. Do not recruit her as your cure for loneliness or lost youth. Clarity is attraction. Say what you plan to build, the pace you intend to keep, the boundaries you will not trade. Bring sunlight to everything. Shame grows in the dark. Use pauses. If conflict flares or your fear of judgment spikes, slow the cadence. A man who can pause is a man who can lead. Epictetus taught that events do not disturb us, only the judgments we attach to them. Separate signal from story. The signal might be good chemistry and mixed alignment. The story is the fantasy where love fixes timelines and wounds. Signal deserves attention. Story needs subtraction. Practice small exposures to discomfort that are not romantic. Take the hard conversation with a colleague. Lift and finish the last set. Sit alone without the phone. Competence under pressure rewires the craving that once chased relief. None of this makes romance colder. It makes it truer. When you are no longer using the relationship as medicine, you can finally meet as equals. Desire gets cleaner. Responsibility gets shared. Passion stops burning holes in your life and starts warming it. If you are done using romance as a painkiller, type 3 words to lock it in. I heal first. Stay with me. What comes next will give you a filter that respects time and turns pressure into clarity. Number 7. Time is the third partner. In age gap dynamics, there is always an invisible presence in the room. It is not her friends, not your critics, not the algorithm. It is time. Desire might ignore age for a while, but time never does. If you do not respect it, time will tax the relationship in ways chemistry cannot pay for. Time shows up as seasons of life. Careers crest and pivot. Bodies change. Family plans appear or expire. If your timelines fight, passion turns into debt. The fix is not more romance. It is clarity. You talk about pace, goals, location, children, money, health, freedom. You put numbers on calendars instead of fantasies in the air. When timelines align, pressure drops and desire can breathe. Make it real. Logan is 52, a general contractor in Colorado. Jenna is 31, a brand manager who wants a child within 3 years. Logan is open to fatherhood again, but only if it supports the life he has built. They do not negotiate worth. They negotiate time. They set a 12-month window to confirm alignment on marriage and parenting. They agree on savings, targets, and living arrangements if they proceed. By naming clocks, they protect chemistry from corrosion. Flip the lens. Monique is 48, a clinical pharmacist in Miami. Ryan is 36, a paramedic who loves the job. Monique is not planning more children. She values travel, nutrition, quiet mornings, and focus. Ryan wants night shifts and a motorcycle. Neither is wrong. Their timelines, however, are misaligned. When they acknowledge that, the guilt drains. They keep attraction, but they choose different futures. Time made the decision cleaner than emotion ever could. The secret many men miss is that time adds friction to anything sloppy. Secrecy costs time in cover stories. Overgiving steals time from mission. People-pleasing wastes time on performances no one remembers. When you shame-proof your frame and stop medicating old wounds with romance, you buy back time. Then you can invest it where it compounds. Treat time like capital. Budget it weekly. Protect sleep. Keep training. Put work blocks and date blocks on the same calendar so your actions reflect your priorities. Move at the slowest pace that still feels alive. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. When you own your pace, you stop sending mixed signals and her nervous system relaxes. You also need renewal. Attraction is seasonal. Schedule resets, quarterly getaways, monthly check-ins about money, family and plans. Not to micromanage love, but to service the engine before it grinds. Maintenance is not unromantic. Maintenance prevents breakdowns that ruin romance. Remember the difference between weather and climate. A weekend rush is weather. Shared habits are climate. Build climate. Plan for storms too. Illness, layoffs, aging parents. Agree on emergency roles, insurance, and boundaries, so pressure does not rewrite the relationship later. Time will either be your ally or your referee. If you build with it, you gain ease, trust, and steadiness. If you fight it, you bleed urgency, resentment, and regret. The most stoic move here is simple. Act today in a way your future self would thank you for. That is how desire survives the calendar. If this landed, claim it below with 3 words. I respect time. Do not step away. What comes next will show you how to turn pressure into clarity without feeding drama, so your connection keeps its fire and your life keeps its balance. Number 8. Boundaries make passion safe. Passion without boundaries burns hot and then burns everything. Attraction can survive opinions and age gaps, but it cannot survive chaos. Boundaries are the frame that lets desire breathe. They make passion feel thrilling, not dangerous. They protect 2 people from their worst impulses. Without them, you drift into secrecy, performance, and resentment. With them, you create a space where polarity can grow instead of explode. Start with the boundary that matters most, your time. If you treat time like an afterthought, the relationship will treat you the same way. Put work blocks and date blocks on the same calendar. Keep the plans you set. Anchor your calendar with rituals. Move at the slowest pace that feels alive. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. When you regulate the rhythm, anxiety drops and closeness becomes possible. Money is the second boundary many men ignore, especially in age gap dynamics. Overspending to look generous is just fear in a nicer outfit. Pay for what you enjoy, not for approval. Invest when there is reciprocity you can measure. Financial clarity turns attention into respect. Privacy is healthy, secrecy is not. Privacy means you protect intimacy from gossip. Secrecy means you hide because you feel unworthy. The first creates warmth. The second breeds shame. Speak intentions clearly. Refuse situations that feel like hiding. You are not auditioning, you are building. Emotional boundaries are where most attraction dies or deepens. You can hold space without becoming her therapist. You can be open without oversharing wounds you have not healed. You can be affectionate without trading your standards. Marcus Aurelius gave a clean compass for this boundary. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Use that test before every conversation that feels loaded. Another boundary is pace with the outside world. Friends will comment. Family will project. Strangers will perform plays they do not have. Decide how you will respond. Brevity over debate. Kindness over defensiveness. Presence over performance. Epictetus reminded his students that no man is free who is not master of himself. The point is not to win arguments. The point is to remain the author of your own behavior. Body boundaries matter too. Desire can be intense in age gap stories, which is why consent and conditions should be clear before the moment gets loud. Agree on what is welcome, what is not, and how either person can pause without penalty. Boundaries do not kill passion. They let passion trust the room. There will be tests. A late cancellation to see if you will beg. A sharp comment to see if you will fold. a silent treatment to see if you will chase. Boundaries give you one response. You do not punish and you do not plead. You reset, you state your line, and you keep your tone calm. If respect returns, you continue. If it does not, you leave cleanly. That is not cold, that is honest. The beauty of boundaries is the paradox they unlock. The tighter the frame, the wilder the art can be inside it. When she feels your edges, she can relax hers. When she trusts your no, your yes becomes magnetic. Boundaries are not fences that keep love out. They are doors that keep the right kind of fire in. If you are ready to make passion safe instead of fragile, lock it in below with 3 words. I guard boundaries. Stay with me today. What comes next will help you filter motives in a way that keeps chemistry alive and your self-respect intact. Number 9. Filter motives, not promises. Promises are cheap in age gap dynamics. Motives are expensive. Anyone can say the right things about respect, privacy, loyalty, future plans. Very few act the same when pressure shows up. If you want to protect attraction and your sanity, stop grading speeches and start filtering motives. You do it by watching what happens when your standards are real, your money is clean, and your pace is steady. Words float. Motives leak through behavior. Ask what they are here for: status, escape, safety, novelty, control, or connection, and let time answer instead of interrogation. Watch the pattern when you slow the cadence, when you say no to secrecy, when you refuse to buy closeness with gifts, when you protect work, sleep, training, and finances. Real motives surface around friction. If someone is drawn to your presence, they move toward you even when there is nothing to gain but time together. If they are drawn to a story, they pull back the moment the perks pause. Let's make it concrete. Robert is 54, a commercial painter in Sacramento. He meets Kayla, 33, who loves his decisiveness but pushes for lavish weekends and private posting only. Robert keeps the dates simple. No debt spending, public but discreet. When he declines a last-minute trip to protect a client deadline, Kayla gets chilly. No tantrum, just less warmth. Fewer plans unless there's a splurge. That is the motive talking. Not evil, not a villain, just misaligned. Robert doesn't lecture. He names the pattern, holds the line, and watches. The distance confirms the truth he needed. Promises said, serious. Motives said, lifestyle. He exits clean. Flip the lens. Natalie is 46, a hospital administrator in Minneapolis. Ethan is 36, a strength coach who values open calendars, early mornings, and no secrecy. Natalie says she's aligned, then asks him not to mention them at work events, and prefers last-minute hangouts after stressful days. Ethan moves the pace to planned evenings, daylight dates, and consistent check-ins. When Natalie tries a silent test, he doesn't chase. He restates his standards and returns to his routine. She respects it and leans in, because her motive was connection, not concealment. The boundary revealed it. Here's the filter that never lies. How do they handle your no? How do they react when attention stops being a faucet and becomes a schedule? How do they behave when money isn't part of the moment? How quickly do they repair small ruptures without theater? Motives show up in repairs, not declarations. Future talk is easy. Logistics are proof. Secrecy is the biggest tell. Privacy protects intimacy from gossip. Secrecy hides it from accountability. If someone needs the relationship hidden, for now, ask what the reveal would cost them, and whether that cost is about safety or image. If image rules, promises will keep moving the finish line. You also filter by reciprocity you can measure. Who initiates? Who plans? Who adjusts? Who apologizes first when they're off? Equal isn't 50-50 every week. It's responsive exchange over time. When energy is one way, motives are already decided. Do not overcorrect into paranoia. You are filtering, not prosecuting. Keep warmth, keep humor, but hold your rhythm. When you live by clear standards, misaligned motives self-select out. The right ones won't need managing. They'll match you without being coached. The point is simple. Promises are theater, motives are gravity. Let behavior write the story, and read what it writes without flinching. If you're ready to choose action over speeches, lock it in with 3 words. I choose clarity. Keep watching. The final shift ties everything together and shows how truth, not tactics, keeps the fire burning without burning you out. Number 10. Choose truth. Keep the fire. Truth is the oxygen of attraction. Lies and half-stories might buy a weekend, but truth keeps desire breathing for the long haul. In age gap dynamics, the stakes are higher. Biology pulls, society shouts, fantasy tempts. If you want the fire without the fallout, choose truth first. Not the truth that flatters you, the truth that steadies you. Start with the truth about motives. Are you chasing vitality, escape, status, control, or connection? Say it to yourself before you say anything to her. When you name the real hunger, you stop dressing it up as romance. You can then invite what fits and release what does not, without turning either of you into a story you have to maintain. Then tell the truth about costs. Every choice has a bill. Timelines, energy, reputation, money, family. If you pretend the bill is small, resentment will collect it later with interest. If you acknowledge it now, you can design a way to pay together, or choose not to buy at all. Desire survives honesty. It dies from hidden fees. Truth about pace comes next. Fast feels thrilling. Fast also hides mismatches. Set a rhythm that protects work, sleep, training, and focus. Keep dates you set. Keep space you set. Slow is not cold. Slow is precise. When cadence is clear, her nervous system relaxes. That is when real intimacy shows up instead of constant adrenaline. Be truthful about visibility.